that miss aside where he kind of, I don't know because on his left foot, he kind of just gives it back to Martinez. That's the only blot on his copybook, really, Chris. He was unbelievable again. Like he was covering every blade of glass. Every blade of grass rather. There's a clip of him making that burst and run into the box, and then he's the one who makes the tackle on the edge of his own box moments later. Like he was just like sensational once again, and he is like, you know, of all the selection issues Arne's got, one of them is like dead easy for him, is that one of the midfielders is going to be Dominik Szoboszlai, because he's in that good a form at the moment.
Yeah, he's in that good a form, and he's been Liverpool's player of the season so far. Absolutely. I just think he's been absolutely phenomenal, and even with the struggles Liverpool have had recently, I think they could even be in a worse position if it weren't for him, really, in terms of his contributions. I think he's really stepped up this year. He's really shown his leadership qualities. Of course, we know captain of Hungary. I really do believe a potential future captain of Liverpool. It'd be great to obviously get him down to a new contract as soon as possible, because his importance really is rising in terms of what he provides to the team. Defensively and offensively. Look, I just think he's such a powerhouse. He's such an energetic midfielder. He's got that range of passing. He seems a bit quicker this year as well. Not afraid to have a shot. He is a really, really good package.
He should shoot more.
He should shoot more for the ability he's got.
He should be scoring more goals. That's the only thing wrong with his game at the moment.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's absolutely world class as a central midfield player.
Yeah, and you say about the midfield, it's Szoboszlai and Gravenberch plus one more, but I think he's got a really good partnership and understanding with Gravenberch in that role now. And I know the right back issue has been talked about a lot. I just think it's becoming more and more obvious with every game that, he did all right there, but Liverpool are so much better when he's in a free-flowing midfield role, and I hope that really Arne Slot realises that and just make sure that he stays there for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I think he knows. Like he picks him more than pretty much anyone else as well. And again, whether that's at right back, Szoboszlai's always in the team, but I think we know like he's a midfielder. John, you said after the Frankfurt game that was one of his best performances. I think you said it was his best performance in Liverpool, and elements of Stevie G in terms of doing everything.
I said the best since Stevie G.
Yeah.
That performance, and I think he's still a long way short of what Stevie G was doing, goals in particular and shots. But the potential is there. He's still young. He's
25.
Yeah, he's got a really brilliant future ahead of him if he keeps progressing.
It was one of them games, John, where there's always the old footy cliches, but it did feel like every blade of grass kind of performance, where defensively and with the ball, he was the one winning the ball back. He was on hurrying and harrying, pressing. He was getting himself on the edge of the box, getting involved with things as well.
He's one of those guys who has a lot of time on the ball. When he's on the ball, he just looks like he's got all the time in the world to find a pass or run into space. And at the moment, he's just on fire.
I think you learn a lot about a player, John, as well, when the team is struggling. It's easy to look good when you're playing well. It's hard to be the standout player all the time and keep your levels high when the team's basically
and you're being moved out of position all the time. It can't be easy if you feel you're a great midfield player to suddenly be told you're playing right back. But we know that his strength at right back isn't necessarily defending, but the ability to pass like Trent. Because the team was clearly lacking, that kind of creativity. So it was a bit of a sacrifice. But as an experiment, I don't think, it worked well enough to keep him out of midfield. Basically.
He's too good to not play midfield. Yeah. It's interesting, Chris, because Aston Villa's game plan is what they play John McGinn, like nominally left side, but the plan is effectively it's 4 centre mids. John McGinn comes inside and it almost becomes a box.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got, Kamara and Onana and then Rodgers and McGinn, and they're trying to overload you, and then they want Luca Dean to have the freedom down the left. Liverpool's midfield coped with that very well, and Szoboszlai was a major part of it. You're effectively outmanned in there, you're 4 against 3. But when you've got Szoboszlai like iron lungs running around everywhere, chasing and hurrying and harrying, it allowed Liverpool, and it wasn't no surprise. For example, Mo Salah has a better game because he's one-on-one with Luca Dean all the time. That can only happen because Szoboszlai's winning his midfield battles.
Yeah, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai count as 2 each. So maybe 5 against 4. On Szoboszlai again, I think it's really interesting because at the end of his first season, when he started so well, and we literally were thinking the second coming of Gerrard, but then he did tail off, and there was a comment from him at the end of his first season that basically the speed and the quality of the Premier League did hit him. and he realised what it was going to take to cope in the league. And under Slot, I think he's really adapted to that side of the game. I think he's really strengthened that side of the game, because he would really fit into any midfield in the league, and I'm very glad that Liverpool have him for that reason.
I think that first season, he was also fighting to get Hungary into the Euros, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was playing brilliantly for them every game.
Yeah.
And as soon as they qualified, it was almost like, oh, right, I can relax now.
Yeah.
And his game went really downhill. But, he's back to his best now. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's even doing well for Hungary this year, scored the equaliser against Portugal in the most recent game. So, yeah, I think overall, you could even say, it's a bit too strong to say the form of his life, maybe, but I don't think it's far off there in terms of a club level.
I think for us, mate, it's absolutely that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's played, because his start of his career was a little bit different. You're right. He looked a bit better in terms of maybe in front of goal. And there's still, by the way, he's got 2 goals and 4 assists. It's not like he can do better, of course, but he was never, I thought, like nailed on. You have to pick Dominik Szoboszlai all the time. He was always looking at other options and other people pushing him and maybe looking for his place. Now he's nailed on.
I think a lot of people thought he was the one who was going to be under threat.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Maybe, yeah. But clearly wouldn't say that now.
No, I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and like I say, it was not quite Stevie G, number 8 on your back and stuff, but it was like Gerrard.
No, but he's redeemed the number. He's definitely redeemed the number.
Yeah, number 8. Yeah. He looks like a Liverpool number 8, and like I say, he's doing. Obviously, listen, he will never have, or he might, but not yet. He's not going to be as good as Gerrard in terms of overall quality, but he's doing the same things. And that, I said this to John last week, Chris, but interesting to get your point on it. Usually, a midfielder now, especially in modern football, is like they have specific roles. You sit and you do this, or you whatever. It feels like his role is just to go and impact the game. Yeah. If it means you have to sprint back and defend, you defend. If it means you can go and make those long busting runs and get on the edge of the box, or carry the ball, or shoot from distance. He nearly scores from distance, by the way. He wasn't far away. That one that drags wide. Again, he mentioned off the press, he really should have scored. Maybe he needs to work on that. But it just feels like he's being told by Arne Slot, you just go and be Dominik Szoboszlai. You can, not a free role, because he's very disciplined in what he does getting back. But it's almost like one of his best attributes is his ability to get around the pitch, and we're letting him do it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think if you're a 90-minute man in the Premier League as well, for a club that want to be successful, you've got to impact the game at some form pretty much every single game. I think, for example, one midfielder that's undeniably doing brilliantly this year is Declan Rice, but I think he's been given a different role in terms of being able to maybe get forward a little bit more, but he is someone that you feel pretty much can do anything as a central midfielder. Szoboszlai is of that ilk. He absolutely is, because of what he can do defensively, offensively, the way he can inspire others, as I mentioned earlier, his leadership qualities. It does feel like he's really stepped up. And I say he's 25. He's only just turned 25 as well. Yeah. So, he's only going to keep learning. He's been playing football for such a long time already as well in his career, in terms of actually being an important player for the clubs that he's played for. So every single time he's becoming more and more reliable. His quality is getting better. And in terms of impacting the game, he's actually finding ways to do so this year, which is a brilliant asset for Slot and Liverpool to have.
And the leadership thing to finish, John, I thought there was moments at the weekend where you could really tell that. Like, he's the one leading the press, he's the one flying about. Like, he does look like a guy who everyone follows. That's how Gerrard captained it. But Gerrard was never the Jamie Carragher, Jordan Henderson screaming shouts. It was like lead by example.
Role model captain. Yeah, that's the kind of.
And he looks like a Liverpool midfielder. Like Szoboszlai looks like. That's what we want Liverpool midfielders to look like. The role model thing's perfect.
Absolutely, and he was instrumental in having Salah involved in the game far more than he has been so far this season. In fact, it was probably Salah's best game. Yeah. And he was involved a lot, and most of what he did was really good. And if you've got Mo Salah firing, you've got every chance in the world of winning the football match. Absolutely,
yeah. Nice one, Dom Szoboszlai. Keep it up, please, mate. We need you, because you're performing magically well so far. I agree with what you both said. Probably in the form of his career so far. That was a clip from the Final Word show. If you'd like to check out the full show, head on over to redmenplus.com.